Alrighty, these We the People news. Okay, so I got a 2008 Ford Expedition, and we seen videos on these starters, and I spent 2 days taking out the other starter and tried all kinds of YouTube videos. For me, putting this back in after trial and error for 2 days of trying to do a YouTube thing and trying to get everything unattached, this in here is actually my new starter. So what I did is use I believe it was a 1/2 inch, and it snugged onto the boat really tight, so that way I can get the boat started in there without it bouncing around like a little rag doll. And then I added an extension right there. Now, the ones that's got the, I don't even know what the part is, but it just got a minimum slack in it. You guys know what I'm talking about. That's probably a better route. I just didn't have anything like that. So I had to make do with what I have, and I've been stranded. So my starter actually came in the mail because I've been stranded. But I did a 1/2 inch with that, now it blanked out my brain. But when it's said and done with, I ran it all the way across through here. There's plenty of gap in there. And for me, was easier to do that. And right by the battery box, I had plenty of room up there to tighten in and all that. Now that ratchet was a handy ratchet because in this case, it kind of acted like a screwdriver. I could twist the top and slowly screw things in. But the other way you can do as well, I just found it was easier for me. Now I'm a little guy, and I have little arms and all that, and this was a pain even for me. Now I did use a bunch of little adapters to it, and you're going to use all them little slack that it gives you unless you get brand new sets and everything's so tight. So through here, all through here, there was little wiggle room, which helped me quite a bit since I didn't have that one particular place. I don't know how good this video is going to be, but since the boat was somewhat tight on there and it didn't give that boat any wiggle room, it was easily for me to be underneath this car to squeeze in all this right through here. Okay, but I did take off that solenoid to give my hands a little bit more wiggle room where I can get my hands through this, through this, through here, and of course as you can tell, I'm still doing a minimum, well, I'm still in the process of putting the starter in, but the main bolt on the top I wanted to get to, so I kept this one right here a little slack until I could get that bolt up there on the start. And because everything kind of fit in that little section there, I'm not explaining this right, this was the last minute video, but due to all this, I gave a bunch of little slack that I needed because it'd been such a tight area. There we go. So, because of the way my car and what little tools I have, most videos I've seen was on a lift. I don't have a lift. I have a small jack, mainly just to use to change out tires. And I have a couple of deals to make sure everything don't fall on me. But in general, that's the room on the ground I had to work with. All right. So for people who don't have all the necessary equipment to get this thing in height, sometimes we got to make do. Since I had this jerked apart anyway, I got brand new brakes on the front, And there we go. So I just did this right here and created all kinds of extensions that kind of had a little bit of slack in it and wiggled it all the way up to the front. And I can get on top of the car instead of squeezing through this tight little space and try to get my ratchet in there. Now I can get on top in the hood and do it that way. So no matter what you do, people, when you work on this, it's a pain. But this took me so far getting all this situated here. Getting to that top bolt took me about an hour of my uneducated working on cars to get that in there, started properly and not strip it out and all that kind of stuff. Compared to me getting it out, it took me 2 days. This is We the People News. Till next time, bye y'all.